First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming to pay your respects to my brother. This day, you know it's coming, but until it comes, and it takes a while to sink in as well. But I had a lot of time to think about my brother, his life, and, who he was to me and what he meant to me. I happened to be at our family cabin when I got the news that it wasn't looking good, and I was able to, it's coming, but until it comes, and it takes a while to sink in as well. But I had a lot of time to think about my brother, his life, and, who he was to me and what he meant to me. I happened to be at our family cabin when I got the news that it wasn't looking good, and I was able to drive down and catch him an hour before he passed, which was very important to me. But on the way back, I started thinking about his life and the impact it had on a lot of people. And, how did it affect me? How did it influence me? Because I always viewed my brother John as a master of life's influences. The things that are important, relationships, things like that. So there are many memories actually. I wrote several pages on my brother, but two things that stand out to me that kind of defined who he was to me. One was his birthday party at a Mexican restaurant. I think it was his 75th, but I'm not sure. But, I walked in, and that place was packed, and packed with quality people. So my brother had a gift of being able to talk to anybody, and he surrounded himself with great people. So I always remembered that about him, and I've tried to do the same in my own life. The other defining moment was when my son passed away. He got in his truck. 10 hours later, he was at my house down in Southern California, and just, the things that he said to me were, they were real. He, didn't sugarcoat anything, but it just made me feel good. It made me accept, what was happening at that time. So for those two things, they always stick with me. That's what I think of when I think of my brother. Grief is the most powerful emotion in the world, in my opinion. And, you got to sit with it. It's something that can't be ignored. You just got to process it. So my way of honoring my brother is I took a little time capsule up to the top of Sawtooth Peak in the Sequoia National Park. That's where all of our family members are placed, and left a little time capsule up there. And I'll also honor him pretty much every day in my meditations. I honor the dead, people that have been important in my life, my parents, and so forth. And my little saying goes like this at the end of my meditations each day. I will say, there's something to be said for loving the dead, and from those who have passed on before me, I'm learning what it means to love unconditionally. And then I'll think about my brother and what he left me, and dignity is the word that comes to my mind. John was a very dignified person, and a great role model for, his brothers and sisters. That's all I have for you. Thank you for coming to pay your respects.
Thank you, Donn.